Yeah, I mean, I think, listen, if they had a conversation with the coach, that means the coach was interested, right? I think you're going to send an email, and oftentimes you won't hear back, or oftentimes you'll send an email and you'll get like a very, very generic questionnaire and an invitation to a camp, right? And like, oh, coach sent me an invitation to camp. Yes or no? I mean, listen, that's happening. We get, like I said, 60, 70 emails a day. We're going to get something back from us. It's going to be fill out a questionnaire, send us more film. At 23, we can't personalize that at all right now. It has to be very, very stock.
Yeah.
Right, so that's just for the group. But if a 22 is having dialogue with a coach and a coach has initiated that contact, I think a really nice way to wrap up that call is just, coach, talk to me about next steps. I really appreciate the time on the phone this evening, right? I'm a little bit unsure of this process. I'm working through it with my family. I have a sincere interest in your university. I'd like to take the next steps with you. What does that look like for me? I love that. And that's a proactive young man. That's a young man that's serious about his process. He's not having his parents drive it for him. And he's putting me on the spot to say, do you really like me? That's what he just said without saying that. So I have to say what his next steps are. And if I'm not sure, I'm like, the next steps come to our camp. Coach, what does that look like for me? Does that mean if I have to come to your camp and perform at a level that you're comfortable to take the next step after that? So it's really about your questions, right? Like in anything in life, like if you come up with really good, curious questions, you're going to get to a place that you can really have a tangible answer. And I think that would be my advice. A lot of times if I call a young man, if I pick up the phone, I'm calling someone, I'm often not, first of all, no disrespect to your son, but like they're not great on the phone. Generally. So that's an issue. We're aware. But listen, here's the thing, right? That goes back to like, this is an interview. And again, for me, we're seeing 4,000 or 5,000 kids a summer, we're boiling it down, there's a degree that you're asking yourself 20 hours a week. Is this a guy that I want to spend that kind of time with? And so I think if I'm calling, I'm not calling for his 40 time. I'm not calling to hear about his awards. My conversation will typically start with like layup questions. Steve, tell me about how your family's doing. What are you guys, you guys taking a vacation? I give him something that he can't miss on, right? And if it's good, I don't know. Yep. Okay, well, there may be some nerves, so you work through that a little bit, and you take 2 or 3 more questions. But I think again, we're looking at that point to really just to kind of see if there's a connection, right? And then I'll build into questions that look kind of like, tell me a little bit about what a dream school would look like for you. What gets you excited about Ohio State? Coach, I just love the football games. Okay, so let's unpack that a little bit more, right? That's what that looks like. So again, he'll get off. What he doesn't realize is he is being interviewed. And at the same time, he should be interviewing me. Coach, what are you looking for? How many guys are you bringing in this class? I play attack, right? Do you see me as an attackman or am I mid? What about your game got you excited? Had you pick up the phone? What can I do in the next 6 months? So again, it goes back to those questions. And oftentimes kids just aren't prepared. So if you take anything away from that, it's like have them write out really good, curious questions, right? And like I said, it's a 2-way street. So, September 1st rolls around, we're going to have targeted, let's just say 50 kids and I'm talking like not specific to Ohio State, because I can't do that. I can say camera focused on right now. So 50 kids, right? And say you're targeting a class of 12. So again, that's kind of like our focus. Now, if we need to widen that, we will, right? But that's where we'll start. So again, 50 kids, 12. Now, 3 weeks into September, we may be down to 25 for 12. And just, Coach, I really want an Ivy. Coach, I'm just not interested in being that far away from home. So we're asking curious questions right away. I mean, because we can't pour resources and really recruit an elite level 50 kids. So right off the bat in that first week, we're just kind of weeding, right? Trying to find out, like, is this mutual? It's like dating, right? They're doing the same thing to us. Hey, Coach, listen, there may be kid number 60 that says, Coach, listen, I'm really interested. I got a questionnaire. I came to your camp. And he's a pretty good player. And we're keeping him warm because we like him. And if things don't go well here, I got guys that, Tarafanko was in that 60 group. He was a 4-time All-American. I wasn't ranked up. He was a guy that we didn't recruit initially. I said no to him at first. And thankfully, he said yes later. But everybody said no, right? He's one of the best to ever play for NXT. And so I think, again, that process of just keeping the dialogue going. And then, again, what we'll do is if a kid comes up for a visit and we're ready, like, hey, we really like your son. I'll say to him this, the way we operate, we'll say, so we're at a point now where we're ready to take the next step and make an offer to you to be part of this brotherhood. What I will tell you is that when that offer is extended, my friend, There's a timeline that comes with that.
Yeah.
And we can talk now, and I'm not going to ask you to make that decision here today, but we're not going to make that offer. It's not going to be 6 months from now. So if you're not ready, we understand. All right? But also understand that we're going to continue to recruit. And again, people can hear me say that and think I'm a bad guy. But that's just what it is. That's life. Right? So what I just did there, I didn't say, here's an offer. You tell me right now or you're out. I just framed, we are ready. If you are, let's go. If you're not, you're rolling the dice. And that's okay. You know, so I just think that's where that thing is. You don't love me as much as I love you. Keep looking, and our love will be tested. And then when you're ready, come back. We'll do everything we can to make this a reality. But that's how we operate, and I think that just makes everybody feel pretty good. And I never let guys commit on campus. Like, I think it's great to go home. You know, or kid will say, "Coach, listen, I'm thrilled you said that. I have one more visit. I'd like to make that visit. Can I make that visit? And then can we talk that Monday night after and talk fiscally about what you have to offer?" Great, love that timeline. Great coach. Yeah, so again, I can't speak for every coach. Admissions are going to work differently in different places. Division 2, 3 are going to be a little bit different. Division 3 may be a little bit later. But it's a great question to ask. Coach, if we make a decision and we are committed, in our family, commitment means that it's really a big deal. If we're going to say no to other schools, we're not going to make visits, we're not going to go to these prospect camps. So I just want to outline what commitment looks like for the Myers family. All right, so that being said, we just want to make sure, you know, that same commitment is there anything that our son can do to not be assured he'll be accepted into your university? And again, I didn't ask him to guarantee admissions. I just said, is there anything my son can't do? Again, going back to like the way I approach the question. And again, I would say, listen, we recruited your son. He's a 3.6 student. You know, he's got 1 C on his transcript. He's got a 1200 PSAT. I know he hasn't taken them again. I feel comfortable there. Where there would be a rub, or where we would be in trouble, is if the next semester that was a 2.8, 2.9. You know, again, if his lacrosse went like this and his school went like this, that's a breach in the commitment we're making to each other right now. We're not recruiting someone who's going to trend that way. So as long as it continues to be here, or more preferably here, I promise you, your son is going to be part of this family. You know, that's how I would respond to it, because there is no guarantee, right? If your son tanks or doesn't go to school, he's not getting in, right? But he's also got to continue to work on his game. If if we're on the same page, like, that's going to happen. And no parent's going to say, "Oh, I'm uncomfortable with that." But I do think that's a really important piece. They may come back and say, "Well, here's the deal," you know, or yes, he can commit, but he still has to go through the admissions process. That makes me uncomfortable if I heard that. But what exactly do you mean there? So we could commit and then not get in. So I would make sure you really pin that one down. Exactly what you're saying.
I mean, it's
yeah,
like
I mean, turn on TV. I mean, listen, I get it. You can. I'm not here to my personal feelings on it really don't matter, right? It's what it is, you know. And at the end of the day, it's across all sports. It's not lacrosse. It's across all sports. And COVID, you know, really in a lot of ways just poured kind of fuel in the fire with that extra year. So you got a portal. Now you're giving young men an extra year. So this is the 2 or 3 window where that will be interesting. You also have the NLI that's coming July 1st, which is name, image, and likeness. You know, where young men are going to name, image, and likeness. It's going to be coming into college athletics as of July 1st. So that's another massive wrinkle. You have the recruiting timeline. These freshmen, 21 class, is the first class that actually committed as juniors. So it's a kind of a perfect storm of transfer portal, COVID year, NLI, and later recruiting. And parents like yourself asking, like, how does this affect my son, right? So there's no easy answer to that.